All right, all right. Here we are. Welcome, everyone. I am Marty Marr on Facebook. Some people call me Uncle Marty. And welcome to Gratitude Speaks. We're here on another episode. I'm very excited to have Jared here with us. Jared is a very close friend of mine who has recovery house experience. And here on Gratitude Speaks, we care and we share with others our experience with communal living, as well as using gratitude as a tool for happiness. So obviously, we're going to talk about your hobbies and, what you do for enjoyment in your life today. But with that, let me bring in Jared. Jared and I want to say, met probably 9 years ago.
Sounds about right. Yep.
And we did live together. He was part of the OG Uncle Marty crew back at the Jacob's Ladder house.
I actually met you in rehab.
That's right. I came and spoke at your rehab.
Yeah.
That's right. So I should have remembered that too, because for the longest time, and I did finally change yours, for the longest time I had you in my phone as Jared Mountain Manor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You were friends with Zach. So do this. Take us back there. Take us back and even give us some experience for what it was like, in brief, and then how you got into the housing.
So basically I ended up at Mountain Manor because my life had become just completely unmanageable and I couldn't hold, I was about to lose my job, apartment, girlfriend, you name it. I was about to lose it. And I just had this come to Jesus moment where I was like, listen, I'm either going to die, end up in jail, or even worse, just continue living the way that I was living, So I made the decision to get help, and I called the Baltimore County Health Department, and they were able to get me into a rehab for free in like 3 days, which was amazing. I'd never even heard, like, I didn't have to pay a dime, and they basically got me a bed. And this time around, I knew that this is what I wanted, that I wasn't gonna become anything in life if I didn't make some changes. So, I went to rehab. I, took the suggestions that were given to me to, stop using drugs and alcohol and get a sponsor, go to meetings, and basically just immerse myself in recovery. So, but going back, I remember meeting you there, and you came in one night for a meeting, and I remember just sitting there listening to you, and you just kind of had this zen to you. You seemed very peaceful. And it was I don't know, and I wanted that. I wanted to have that feeling. You seem very in the moment, I guess you could say. But I remember you talking about like stealing a wheelbarrow and shit, but that was, that's yeah. You said you were talking about like you still had some character defects, and you had stolen a wheelbarrow.
And I only shared about that meetings right after it happened, so that was like right after that happened.
Yeah.
Should I take a second to tell that story?
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell it as quickly as possible. So basically, I went into it was a Target that was going out of business in Baltimore. And so like the shelves were like half empty. It was just like a very weird shopping environment. And I was like riding a skateboard up and down the aisles. And my girlfriend at the time sprayed me with a bunch of perfume. So I had like this weird smells on me. And, I just like whatever it was about that environment, I got it in my head that I wanted to shoplift, and I could not shake this desire. And so I filled up an entire wheelbarrow full of stuff. And I like walked past the, as I'm checking out, because I was paying for some of the stuff, but the wheelbarrow full of stuff, I was like, yeah, I don't want that anymore. And I just wheeled it around to the front, and I was like doing this like neurolinguistic programming to the guy. And I was like wafting the weird smells to him and kept saying like, oh, this is fine. This is fine. And sure enough, I just stole a whole wheelbarrow full of stuff. And it was just like the insanity of it. And what really struck me, I remember, was that when we left, that she then wanted to continue shoplifting at the next place.
Oh,
And I'm
geez.
like, oh no, what have I done? And I actually don't share that much at meetings because I remember a couple people came up to me afterwards and they're like, yeah, I've been shoplifting ever since you told that story. I'm like, wait, what? Like
That wasn't the point.
was not the intended consequences, but
Well,
you
we've
know,
come a long way, huh?
I have not shoplifted. Although, can I tell you this? So the other day we were able to get a donation from Howard County and we were able to go and basically do extra shopping for the nonprofit. And while I was there doing this shopping spree, that same overwhelming desire to shoplift came over me. I don't know what that is. It's still there, but I didn't act on it this time. So yeah, I'm getting better.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know why that stuck with me, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So tell us about getting into the recovery house. How did you get connected with? You were in LIR.
Yeah, I was in living in recovery.
Was it living in recovery back
You
then?
know what? I don't remember exactly how that process played out. I think when I was getting ready to leave rehab, they were like, "Hey, like if you want a good shot at making it, like this is that you got to do this." Like I don't know if they gave me some percent. They're like most people that don't go into a halfway house or some sort of living situation like that, they don't make it, especially if they've had many years of, you know, abuse, drug abuse and alcohol abuse. So
Yeah.
I took the suggestion and I went there and it was super weird and uncomfortable at first, and it was, I didn't feel like I fit in the beginning. I got really lucky though, because I got my own room and a lot of people don't get their own rooms and pretty much I don't think I ever had to share a room when I was living there, So that was a huge bonus for me. But yeah, it took the whole thing was just awkward in the very beginning, moving into this house, people I don't know that um and then going to all these meetings and just feeling uncomfortable. And you got to realize I was still coming out of the clouds then. I had a really bad benzo problem and I was doing a ton of Suboxone and drinking like a fish. So, and like those are like some of the worst to come off of. So it took me months just to start feeling normal again. But I took the suggestions. I went to 90 meetings in 90 days. I followed the house rules, went to the house meetings. I tried to share where I was at. I only hung out with people that were sober, or clean. Sorry, whatever your preference is, but um, you know but over time, I became friends with the people that I lived with, and it turned out to be a pretty good situation, and I still have a lot of these people are still my friends today. So
And that's pretty amazing. I think that's what I was going to ask you too. How many of them that you're still friends with?
yeah, I mean, Zach, he's like my best friend basically, and I still see other people on Facebook. I'm not really like talking to them on a daily basis or anything, um but yeah, I met some really good people there. It was a good experience. It was definitely weird at first though. I remember it was so I got clean in October of 2015. So I remember like the first real happy moment I had in that house was Christmas time. And one of the guys had gotten like all these Nerf guns from one of the ladies at one of the meetings. And that was like the first moment that I had like actual like fun and joy. Like we were chasing each other around the house, shooting, wearing these silly winter, those weird hats with the ears and
The hunting hats.
yeah, like those hunting hats. And it was a really good time, man. I remember that moment vividly, but it was I don't know. I think things just, I was just doing what I was told and things slowly got better. And that's in the
Yeah,
beginning, you got to take the suggestions, or if you're like me, you'll probably end up not failing. So,
yeah. And you had a lot of years of use. Did you ever live communally before recovery, like when you were in Colorado or anywhere else?
I mean, I've always had roommates, but not like that, like that was a little different. That was like people that didn't know each other at all, just moving in and living with each other, so it was different,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
it was called living in recovery when you moved in.
I believe so.
Okay, I think so too. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. And so how'd they do it? They had a furnished room.
Furnished room. It was just the bare, it was a decent place. It wasn't anything extravagant, but they had couches and a TV and you know, a small bed in the bedrooms. It was perfect. It was just what I needed. You know what I mean? I was still in roofing then. I wake up super early, go to work, get off, go to the gym, go to a meeting, go to bed. That was my routine for, you know, the first couple of years. So,
How many energy drinks to get through that kind of day?
oh geez, man. I was drinking like 3 or 4 energy drinks a day.
I
Yeah.
remember you had the case, the
Yeah.
4-pack that you would take with you for lunch.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
you'd be drinking one and taking the 4-pack with you, I think.
Yeah, it was bad. We had a problem with that. I was drinking like 4 or 5 of those monsters a day at that peak of that, you know.
You did
I
5.
don't recommend that.
You made 5 in one day.
You
That's
don't feel
amazing.
good after that though.
That's amazing. I can't
Yeah, it's
believe it.
stupid. That's just the addict mentality though. That's so it's all so unnecessary. I don't know. My caffeine take has gone way down.
Yeah.
I have an energy drink every once in a while, but I'm kind of on the coffee train now, so.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to talk about those things, right? Like how it was, and when we realized maybe that isn't the best thing for us. I was actually talking with somebody day before yesterday, actually, and she consumes. We added it up, and I said, "How many milligrams a day of caffeine is that for you?" Right? Because it sounded like a lot, right? And at
Yeah,
my highest, I'm usually when I get really bad into it, it's like 600 milligrams is like my worst, right? And I haven't been
right.
there for a while, but so she added it up, and it came out to about 1,000 milligrams a day of caffeine is what she said.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And the problem with that is that, I mean, other than there's some consequences that are unintended, um, that add up, but it's also like the caffeine doesn't become more effective.
No,
You just are
no, it's
you're growing extra receptors in your brain that make the tolerance level just depreciate to where
yeah,
you're always tired. Not only is it
yeah,
not enough caffeine to keep you awake, but you're not stimulated at all. Um, yeah, caffeine's one of those things where it's like it's it's a cycle that we get really stuck in, and the problem is too the migraines are real.
yeah. I feel like less is more with that. You just kind of, have your cup in the morning. If you got to have another one later in the day, that's fine. But if you keep it at that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and I've
But
tried to.
when you're just trying to taste it with, just it like you said, you don't get any extra benefit out of drinking more energy drinks. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and
But I
I've
was
tried.
also just going in early, I was also like times where I was vaping and smoking cigarettes and had a dip in like all on the same day, because I was just I was crazy. I was trying to figure everything out,
Clean and
just
crazy.
and
It's one of my
it
favorite phases of recovery, right? Clean and crazy. And some of
yeah,
the things that we do and we get into that keep us away from using but aren't necessarily healthy habits yet.
yeah.
Um, so I guess I'm curious too of are there any superpowers that you've carried into your life from your using? A lot of times we learn some things like hard life lessons through using that when they're applied negatively in our life, they take us further into our addiction, and when they're applied positively, they can really carry us a long way in recovery. Do you think you took any superpowers with you?
Like from active addiction to uh I don't know, man. Maybe not. I was a pretty I don't know. That was like my sole purpose in life was just finding the next one. I always managed to keep it together, but like that was all I ever thought about. So, I don't know. People say I have a big heart and stuff like that.
So you weren't very active if you were doing benzos. You weren't super active in your
No,
use.
I guess, I snowboarded. I used to snowboard a lot. I carried that in. So there was still some hobbies and stuff that I enjoyed doing, but I pretty much had to like just completely rebuild my life. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, and you were blessed to get a good job. So you got into roofing and you got into the gym. And actually, this is something I'd love for you to tell us about. So I remember how serious Jared got at the gym, and I've watched countless guys come into recovery and get serious and they all get muscles, and that has not been my story, at least as of yet, because I can't
Right.
stay at the gym consistently. But I'd love for you to tell us about that, and especially, the meal prepping side of how did you learn? Who did you follow? Because Jared still looks like a superhero, but I'm telling you, when he took off his shirt, he was literally like he could have been, a Marvel character.
I'm a little fluffier now, but
Little bit.
yes, but I still do go to the gym. Uh, I don't know, man. For me in the beginning, it was just mental health. It was I had to like I had this extra energy and just and probably some of it was anger and just like a ball of all this mixed emotions that I had to deal with. And going to the gym and just hammering out, that just made the world of difference to me. As far as people I followed, I just followed. I don't nobody in particular, but I don't know, just being healthy and going to the gym. Like it's hard going to the gym, but it's also hard to be out of shape and be an unhealthy person. You got to choose your hard. So I just knew in the beginning uh that's what I wanted to do, and it's something I've just carried on for some time now. So yeah.
What advice would you give for guys? Because to be able to go to work early, get off of work, go to the gym, and go to a meeting. How did you pull that off? I mean, a lot of guys just what's the missing piece there?
Well, if it's important to you, you'll figure it out. And if it's not, you'll find an excuse. It's pretty much as simple as that. So I just, you have to decide if it's what you really want. And if it is, then you need to commit to it and be disciplined and just, you're going to have your days where you don't want to go, but those are the days you need to go. Same with meetings. So you just got to kind of like make a schedule for yourself and stick to it. And if you slip, just get back on track. You know what I mean? We all have our days, but um, I don't know. Consistency is key.
So
So,
tell us about the meal prep. What was your secret to meal prep when you
well, it was really simple. I just ate sweet potatoes and ground turkey. I literally ate that. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how long I was on that. I think for like a solid year, though, almost, I'd say 99% of my meals were sweet potato and turkey. Which it's kind of insane when I tell people about that, but literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's what I ate.
Well, I want you to know you have changed a number of lives through setting that example. And I like to say, like, I'm a quick learner, but I'm a very even quicker forgetter, right? So I need repetition. I need
Right.
regular repetition to learn something. And seeing you eat that every day, like clockwork, every day,
Yeah.
I learned a very important lesson about meal prepping and consistency. And actually, if somebody's looking to build a habit, that might be a great way to do it, right? To literally
Sure.
simplify your life into something where it's cut and dry for that consistency. You would make your ground turkey or ground beef, and you'd make your sweet potatoes in the oven, right? And it
Yeah.
was like you always had it. And I think you put hot sauce on them too, like
Oh yeah. Yep. Hot sauce. Yeah, that's pretty much, yep, hot sauce. That was the topper.
yeah. So do you have any other meal preps that you would suggest for guys for an easy quick?
There's a ton of stuff out there. I've done a bunch of different things, but if you get on like Instagram, they got all kinds of accounts that it's just literally just all these different meal preps you can do. I made one that was like what was it? Shredded chicken enchilada pasta or something that's like healthy. I made that the other day. I've done like breakfast burritos and stuff. But my meal prep game has not been as solid lately because I live with my mother-in-law and my wife, and they're not really on the same pages. So there's always like sweets and stuff, and I'm just a glutton for food too. So my diet has not been the greatest, and I haven't really been doing a lot of meal prep lately. But I kind of I'll do it for a week and then take a few weeks off, and not super consistent lately. But that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a recommendation I can make. There is a zucchini spiraler. Have you've heard of the
Oh, to make the pasta?
zucchini pasta? What do they call that?
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't
there's
know
some
what it
name.
is.
I don't know. There's some name for it, but I got it, and it's so great because for a low calorie meal, if you throw some like chicken on top of that, zoodles. That's what they call them,
Zoodles.
zoodles.
Okay.
And actually, I'll include a link for that, in the description, because the one that I got was like $15, and it's fantastic. I'm so inspired by the zoodles right now too. I got some zucchini
Nice.
seeds that I'm going to try to make. I've always been really bad at growing stuff, but I just recently also got a couple of shoots off of a sweet potato, and I've planted those. So
Nice.
I'm going to try to keep some plants alive, more than just the aloe plant. The one aloe plant I've drug around my whole life.
Nice. Yeah, my house is a jungle. We got a ton of plants. We got a little garden going this year. We downsized a little bit. The last couple of years, I've just planted way too much stuff in a small space, and it just becomes this tangled mess of plants. But this year we just kept it to a few things. So yeah.
Yeah. So Jared has a ton of hobbies. He's one of the most low key artistic people I've ever met. Yeah, tell us about some of your hobbies. And I actually want to say that probably going to the gym was maybe one of the first things that I saw you do consistently and follow as a passion. But so many other things now. Like, for example, I'm just going to say it. You are one of the best photographers that I know personally. And I
Thank
say
you, man.
low key because I don't know that you are really even trying that hard. You just have a real talent for it. So Jared came to my wedding, and he did a better job than our professional photographer photographing our wedding. Yeah, but
Yeah.
tell us
So
about it.
so I mean, obviously, yeah, I love photography, man. I wish I like if a lot of people like if they didn't work, they're like, I don't know what I would do, like I got plenty of things I would like to do. If sorry, hold on one second. Um, I have plenty of things to keep me occupied, but yeah, photography is one of my jeez, hold on.
Hey, while he's doing
Okay.
that, I will say real quick that we are brought to you by the Gratitude Foundation, gratitudefoundation.com. Please, if you feel called to, you are more than welcome to give a donation or sign up for even a small $1 to $5 a month. We definitely could use the support, and just check out our website. You can see all the fun things that we're doing over there.
Okay, sorry about that. I got a
No
little
problem. I had to
distracted.
mute mine too. No worries.
Yeah. So yeah, photography, I'm really into that. I could do that all day long, just driving around looking for things to photograph. I don't know. Some people say I have an eye for it. Uh, I don't know. I really enjoy photography. Another hobby that I've been getting into the last couple of years is woodworking, which I really enjoy. I'm really hoping that I can probably retire from roofing and get into just doing that as a business for myself. So um and then obviously I love snowboarding, mountain biking. Yeah, those are probably the main things that I enjoy doing though. But I love like gardening and landscaping and stuff like that around my house. I love plants. I got a million plants in my house. But yeah, I got plenty of things to keep me busy. I never have I have very little downtime. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said a few times at meetings, and I like to say it in kind of an abrupt way, that if you're bored in your life, it's not because life is boring, it's because you're boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There is
If your
so
life
much to
sucks,
do.
it's maybe because you suck. No, I'm just
That's an even more nice way to say it. Yeah, no, it's true though. It's true. There's so much to be interested in. There's so much to do in life, and especially once we're in recovery and we have that ability to trust ourselves on a deeper level. We're able to know, like, if I say I'm going to show up and do something, I don't have to stress about whether or not I'm going to do it. I still remember that weight that would hang over me If I told somebody I was going to go to their birthday party, say, for example, I had no idea if I was actually going to show up while I was using, even if I was on, a sit when I was really desperately trying to control how much I was using, right? Or I was only using a lighter drug or just drinking, right? Like I still had no idea if I was going to show up for somebody or not. And it's just not like that anymore, and, your life, I see it has grown in amazing ways. Um, you've gotten more than just hobbies. You've gotten married.
Yeah, I have an amazing wife. We got a baby on the way in a couple months, which is just insane. Super excited about that. Also very nervous. It's just it's a new chapter. We're getting ready to start, and I don't know, man. I just try to stay grateful and um, yeah, I don't know. Life is good today. Sometimes I can narrow the focus on my problems and just get this tunnel vision and think everything's horrible and whatnot. But when I really take a step back and look at the big picture, things are going really well. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
what you're describing there is a practice of gratitude. Is that something that you have a regular practice in? Do you have any
No,
of
no,
gratitude list or?
definitely something that it comes and goes, right? Like I start getting flustered and going crazy over whatever, and then I kind of got to reel myself back in every now and then. A lot of times at night I just sit back and reflect on my day and just think about things and how I could do things better, or but I mean, gratitude plays a huge part in my recovery. And I don't practice as much. Like I don't have like a daily practice where I'm writing a gratitude journal or anything like that. I say my prayers before I go to bed, and just kind of, every day's a new day. So that's the best thing about being clean and sober, man, is just every day's a new day. You get to start fresh the next day. You don't have to worry about being hungover or whatever it is. If you had a shitty day, the next day you get to redo it. So that's, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I look at it.
And I think your hobbies really do help you always have something to look forward to,
Definitely.
because what you described, mountain biking and snowboarding, it's like, well, whether the weather's warm or whether
Yeah.
whether it's snowing,
Yeah.
you've got a sport that you can go and be a part of, especially with a good job to be able to support those things.
Definitely. Yeah. So I'm in a good place. So definitely.
Yeah. So
I
what
still
about,
have things to work on, but we're just we're never going to be perfect. Just 1% per day. Just if we can just get a little bit better every day over the course of a year, you're going to be doing pretty good. So
so do you remember when you moved into the Jacob's Ladder house? Do you have any funny stories for us?
trying to think, man. I don't know. I was such a robot when I lived there, so it was just kind of like like, and that's okay for me. Like that's kind of how I function. I'm very like, this is what I'm gonna do, so I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but
Well, while you're thinking about it, I have a story. This is something that I still think about to today. So people know that there's, some dog people are cat people, right?
hmm
I can tell you Jared is definitely a cat. I mean, definitely a dog person. And I know that he's a dog person, not just because he has dogs now and he loves them, but when he was at the Jacob's Ladder house, we had cats, and Jared you'd always treat the cats like they were dogs. It always cracked me up because you'd come down and you'd go, "Hey, what's up, kitty?" And try to like pet it like it was a dog. And yeah, it was always great. But they loved you. That was when we had Mr. E.
Yeah, mystery. Where is
He's
he?
passed.
He
He did.
passed?
He did. Mr. E is passed.
Oh man, he was
Yeah.
such a good cat.
Yeah, he was a great cat. And Alan's still around. Alan's still here. Alan
Nice.
started a catch.
Nice. Is he at your place?
He is.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that sucks about mystery.
He lived out the rest of his days in the recovery house. He went over to the Ohm house, and he was with those guys over there until he passed. I think he was old. I mean, he. So I'll tell that story too real quick. So basically, when I was renovating the Jacob's Ladder house, I went over to check on it, and there was a cat inside, and I thought the cat had rabies, because, he was so emaciated and he's like, screaming. And he ended up becoming the house cat for us. And I called him Mystery because it was like Mr. E, but like it was a mystery where he came from. And he was the nicest cat. He was, everybody's recovery buddy. And yeah, he I don't know, he probably was old. He was not good at being homeless like us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so he fit in great. Yeah, he would always like try to like walk in between your legs when you were
I
walking.
remember that. He was so sweet. Yeah. Well, he definitely got a good life, that's for sure. He walked into the right, good thing he ran into you. So
Yeah. Well, do you have any additional advice that you would give, or any just good life advice that you want to give?
well, I mean, this is kind of based on recovery, but just if you're struggling, and you can't see, and your life is unmanageable and you can't seem to get to your shit together, maybe it's time that surrender to something bigger than yourself, and go get some help and take the suggestions, get into a recovery house, go to the meetings. It's awkward at first. I get it. A lot of people don't make it through that awkward phase because they're getting in here like, what am I doing here? But I promise you it's worth it. It's worked for millions of people. And, if you're struggling, there's plenty of people out there that are willing to, you know, lead you in the right direction. So yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for this today. And if anybody wants to check out Jared, we'll have a link to his Instagram, and you can see some of his photography there if you're interested. And I think he might be interested or available for some woodworking jobs if anybody has a
Yeah,
unique.
sure.
He's very exclusive at this time.
It's still in the infancy stages. I'm still an amateur, I guess you could say. I mean, I do decent work, but I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn. So yeah,
You're great at anything you put your mind to.
definitely.
You definitely are. Yeah, and congratulations on the baby to be.
Yeah, man. And so I'm so excited. His name's gonna be Landon James Grant. So
Awesome.
yep,
Awesome.
coming August 30th.
You got any trips before then?
We might do like a little weekend trip somewhere up to the mountains or to the beach or something. We'll probably get Kelsey will probably want to go to the beach. We might go to the beach for a weekend, but no, nothing big.
Yeah,
I mean,
we didn't even
we
talk about all the travels you've had.
yeah. Well, we just got back from Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands, so yeah, that was pretty amazing. So, if you stay clean and just do the next right thing, your life will get better. That's just the way it works. I mean, I think I think you would agree with me on that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I think it's really important to also take a moment and recognize like the you of a few years ago getting into that recovery house and sitting through the uncomfortable time when it all felt weird.
Mm-hmm.
Could not have possibly imagined the life that you have today.
Never would have, never. It's so crazy. When you look back, I don't even know that person anymore.
Yeah,
It's I mean, I was a mess, I really was. And most of us were. But
yeah,
anything's possible. If I can do it, if you can do it, anybody can do it.
yeah.
So
One day at a time.
that's right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on here with us. Just to close, again, we would love to have you visit us either on Facebook, Gratitude Housing, or on our website, gratitudefoundation.com. I'm Marty Marr for Gratitude Speaks. All opinions shared here are our own. We don't pretend to represent anyone or anything other than ourselves. And it's been a pleasure. I'll see you later.
See you, man.